Oh, man, I've been cooking up a storm today.
Ooh, what you been making?
I made some homemade chicken noodle soup in my
Oh,
pressure
okay.
cooker.
Nice.
Turned out really freaking good. And then on the stove, since like maybe one or two today, I can't remember which it was. I had I had frozen a ham bone from I had a spiral ham at some point in the past.
Ham bone.
You know, like in the you get the ham and it's just in the middle.
Oh yeah.
It's just a bone.
Bone.
The bone of a pig. And I tossed that into a pot, and that simmered away for like 6 or 7 hours to make some broth. And I'm probably going to put that in some containers and throw it right back into the freezer. But I wanted to get the bones out of the freezer because my freezer's pretty full.
You really are cooking up a storm, huh?
Well, that one was just, come check on it every once in a while. Oh, the water's getting... I had it covered, but it was still losing water. So I was like, all right, turn the heat up a bit, pour some more water in, get it back to a simmer, and then turn it back
some more
down.
bone.
Yeah. So hopefully that turned out all right. That'll make a good, what's the word? Stock.
Broth. Stock.
There were some chicken bones in there too, so it's a bit of a mixed broth.
Mixed broth. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That sounds tasty.
Hopefully it is.
Yeah, I made some Ethiopian stew.
Ooh, did you have the sourdough pancakes?
No, I don't have any pancakes, unfortunately. I'm just gonna be eating it with rice. But still, it turned out pretty well. That was just a Instapot recipe, so I just had to slow cook it all day.
Yeah, this chicken noodle soup was super fast. Like it was under an hour.
Really? Did you cook the chicken beforehand?
Nope.
Really? Huh. Well, I guess if it's under pressure, then that'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is it was natural release, not quick release.
Okay. Yeah,
so it cooked for another 20 minutes after it turned off.
That makes sense.
But it was pretty easy. Probably make it again.
Well, you have to give me the recipe.
I will.
If it's all that good.
Yeah. Makes a lot too. Might have to end up it's cooling off upstairs, but I think I'm losing a bit too much liquid, so I might have to put a little bit more water in it. But I ignored the recommended amounts for the vegetables because I was like, well, I'll just buy as many carrots as I feel like, and I'm going to put all the celery in. I'm not just putting 2 stalks of celery in. So I put
I feel like celery.
Well, yeah, but it's I want my soup. I want it to have substance, not just broth. You know.
You want to have a little meat to it.
Yeah. So there's a lot more veggies in it than it called for, and it was like 1 small yellow onion. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get a large yellow onion and put it in there.
I do like me some onion.
They always underestimate that kind of stuff. It's like, well, yeah, if you want a can of Progresso chicken noodle soup that's just broth and then maybe a noodle, sure, but I'm gonna do it my way.
My way or the highway.
Mm-hmm. And I'm very lazy, so cooking all in one pot is nice. Because if I'm cooking for myself, I don't try because I know I'll eat it anyway.
You know your own standard.
Yeah, my standards for myself are not very high. So an hour to cook dinner for the entire week, that's like getting like, ooh, it's getting to the upper limit, you know?
That's the rate of return.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really think you can go lower.
I know, that's the issue.
Unless you literally just cook up like 5 pounds of chicken and then and that's it. Just like throw chicken breast in.
Even that would take too long, probably. But what is it? Last week I had tikka marsala, which was pretty quick. And man, with that, I had to cook rice every night, and I wanted to eat it, and that was rough.
Wow, you had cooking rice.
Yeah, I had. That means I had to wash the pot every day.
Wow.
I like just washing it and putting it away. I don't want to wash it again tomorrow.
Oh my ticket! Probably takes like a whole 10 minutes.
Washing the pot or cooking the rice?
Both.
Cooking the rice probably takes about 15, but washing the pot, man, that's at least 5 minutes, and that really eats into my time.
You got valuable things to do.
Exactly. I need to sit on my ass and watch YouTube and play video games. That being said, I did read I, Robot yesterday.
Oh, how is that book?
Oh my God, it was fantastic. I didn't plan on reading the whole thing yesterday. I was like, you know what? I've got a Blender render going. I'm going to start reading this. It was nice and sunny, so I had my window, the blind open, and my room.
But I say it's pretty cold for the window open.
Well, it was. I got a lot of solar energy in my room, so it was like 73 degrees in there. It was real nice, and I started reading it, and then I couldn't put it down.
Well, there you go. So Will Smith is a talented author.
It was Isaac Asimov, and the book is nothing like the movie. I'm not sure where that came from, because in the book, humanoid robots aren't allowed on Earth. Yeah, no,
that's very different from the movie.
Yeah, very different.
Takes place in like Detroit or something.
Yeah, something like that. And it's all these people that have their own private robot. That's not what the book's about whatsoever.
Wait, so Will Smith lied to me?
Yes, he did. About multiple things.
He's not allowed to do that. That's illegal.
I'm sorry to break it to you.
I've been broken. Oh man, well, you wanna jump into the album?
Sure. Let me click some buttons. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week we are talking about California by Blink-182, and this was a viewer suggestion.
Yes.
So I'm going to apologize in advance.
In the suggestion box down below, feel free to drop your suggestion in, and we sometimes review them.
Yeah, this has been in there for at least a year. That's what the box said. So we're doing it now.
When's more timely?
Better late than never.
So yeah, this is as we said, a Blink-182 album. For those of you who don't know, Blink-182 is an American rock band who are from California. Formed back in 1992. And this is their 2016 album, so, pretty far into their tenure. With their lineup of guitarist and vocalist Mark Hoppus, drummer Travis Barker, and guitarist and vocalist Matt Skiba. Seto Kaiba. They're kind of considered like one of the pivotal key groups in American like pop punk scene. But this, of course, being their 7th studio album, released, like I said, in 2016. And it debuted as #1 when it came out in the US and several other countries. And it actually received a Grammy nomination for Best Rock Album.
Wow.
And the band's first Grammy nomination.
Why?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what rock albums came out in 2016. But they were apparently one of the best.
Clearly not a lot came out.
But yeah, so that's a little skivvy on California. So this is a pop band that at this point had been around for 25 years when they released this.
I definitely noticed throughout the album that they sounded they still had a heavily early 2000s sound.
Yes. That was the crucible from which they were formed.
Yeah.
Hey, we can jump right into the first track if you're ready, Sam.
Sure, let me... I should have typed this in beforehand. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's so much time from just making that chicken stock today.
I know. All right. Track number 1, Cynical.
And this track kind of gives you everything you're going to need to know about what's going on to the album. If your main instruments have kind of a electric guitar, the bass guitar, Hoppus's, let's say, energetic vocals and energetic drumming as well.
Very energetic drumming. I really like the harmony that came in right at the start before the drums take off at around 20 seconds. It was very well done harmony and underutilized on the album, I might add. But the important thing about this song is they keep the harmony throughout, which is really nice, and it has the really low and the really high, which are very great contrasts with each other. And this is a very quick start. It's only like a 2-minute song.
Yeah, I mean it's a 16-song album.
Yeah,
but it's only like 42 minutes long. So each song's right around the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, except for one.
A couple examples.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one definitely has that heavy 2000s punk throwback vibes.
Mm-hmm.
They very much delve and relish in that particular sound.
This is when I started having flashbacks of growing up.
Yes, as me and you, Sam, as people who grew up in the early 2000s, this is very much giving me like I'm like my eyes are glazing over and I'm like going back to middle school.
It was more like a Vietnam War flashback for me. To set the tone for my viewing experience. I think I got up 4 separate times while listening to this album. I couldn't do it.
This certainly isn't a well, we've had this discussion before where some albums aren't really made to be listened through all the way through.
The other thing though was that we lived through it, which is I think if I never had to listen to another pop punk song a day in my life, it would be too soon.
Yeah, it definitely was a ubiquitous sound during our time.
To be fair, they started it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean they were 92, so they were really at the start of the scene.
Yeah,
and apparently also at the end of the scene, or what's left of it.
Well, they released an album in 2019.
Oh yeah, there's another one. That one's called 9.
Yeah. Jump to track number 2, then, if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 2, Bored to Death.
Bored to Death, which is odd that they're, narrating the album this early on.
Whoa, Sam, don't show your hand too soon.
No, this is the instruments and vocals are already bland. Second song on the album. Like, come on. And granted, it's probably because I grew up during this era and I fucking hate this music so much. I forgot how much I hated pop punk.
It really triggered something within you.
It did. Like, it's don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but because they started a movement, everyone tried to sound like them. So when I hear this singer, you could tell me this is Coldplay. You could tell me this is anyone from 2000s to early.
Oh, this is not close to Coldplay.
Let me continue. You could tell me this is anyone from or any pop vocalist from 2000s to early 10s, and I would believe you. It is the whitest of bread, and it's not even good white bread. It's stale white bread.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely. This is not really a let's say progression of the genre.
No.
As much as very much digging into all the motifs of pop punk.
Yeah.
Throwback. And that all the negatives of pop punk as well share their face on this album. It's a very faithful recreation. I'll give it points there.
I had trouble believing this came out in 2016.
Yeah, it feels a lot older.
Yeah.
Which I will give this song points, and I'll give this one points throughout the album. Is the drumming's very good throughout the album. The drummer's Travis Barker? That's excellent drum backing on a lot of these songs. Not gonna say the same for. I'm not a fan of these vocals. They are very much the whiny post-punk vocal stylings of a post-punk band.
Yeah, the drums are really the only thing that carry the album in this song in particular. Especially since this is a 2-minute song that they stretched to fill 4 minutes.
Yeah, they do follow quite the structure on this album. I mean, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but since, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more as we go along.
Oh yeah,
the songs can get pretty samey. So having a similar structure with a similar sound can start to blend.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, before we get too bored to death, you want to jump to track number 2 or 3?
Yeah, track number 3. She's Out of Her Mind. Which this kind of I don't know, brings to point the what I was saying before. Where this one
is exactly the same as the first 2 songs.
Does not sound much different than the first 2 songs. I don't know. It's hard to like. Again, the drumming's good.
That's it. That's the only good part.
Those vocals are. I just can't say I'm a fan.
Especially the woes that they have in the background constantly. They are used so often and add nothing, and they're really loud in the mix as well.
Yeah, I also can't help that. I'm not sure if you picked up on this, Sam, but like the vocalization had like some sort of modulation on it. Like obviously there was what's the term?
Post-processing
on it, which I'm sure all studio albums do. But this one felt a little more obvious to me.
Yeah.
Like there's something artificial about it.
Maybe making him sound younger. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's probably was in his 40s when he made this album.
Yeah.
Not exactly the youth of 1992.
It doesn't help that there's nothing to this song besides the chorus. Like, they just repeat the chorus over and over and over and over and over and over, and that's it. That's all there is.
Yeah, it's not a really interesting song. More like Bored Out of My Mind. Huh?
Jump into track number 4.
Track number 4.
Since we've got 16 to get through, and I have a feeling we're just going to be slagging off every single one. Los Angeles, however you want to pronounce it.
I actually did like this one a little more than the other ones.
There's a style change, which is a plus.
Yeah, it's got like a little more of a darker sound going into it, with like some chunkier guitars. I still don't care for the vocals.
Yeah,
but I like the style change. It kind of going for a slightly darker sound.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, at times I forgot this was supposed to be like a punk album.
Yeah, it's definitely not punk. It's just pop.
Maybe I've listened to some dark music in my time, and this punk is like Target store punk.
Yeah, when I think punk, I think early Gorillaz.
Yeah, something a little more muddy.
Yeah.
Maybe it touches on some darker subject matters, at the very least, or like anti-establishment. You don't get like too much on this album.
No.
Like this song's a little bit like complaining about California, or like a lot of them are just like, love sucks. It's like, okay, bro, you're 45.
Yeah. There's a breakdown in this one which came right when it was needed as well, but this song suffers the same fate that every song, I'm pretty sure, except for one on this album suffers, is what you start with is what you get throughout. There's no change. There's no growth. If you hear an instrument at the start, they probably just recorded 5 bars, copy paste throughout. There you go. There's that instrument line for the song. And they just do that for everything except for the drums. The drums are the only good thing.
Yeah, I really can't.
Every song.
Like legitimately, the Barker's drawing on this album is pretty fantastic. I guess it's not mind blowing, but there's definitely a difference in quality and instrumentation.
Yeah,
very noticeable on every song.
Yeah, I will say I would have liked a few more "I'm Never Coming Homes" at the end there. I don't think 10 was enough.
You think you could have added more?
I think we could have stretched the song out at least another 45 seconds and gotten maybe 15 or 16 more in there.
They must have colored tea at the studio.
Yeah.
Let's go. We can go on to track number 5. Sober.
What I was sad I was while listening to this album.
Yeah, Sober. It's weird. A lot of these songs don't really have good build-up.
Yeah.
The song doesn't have a lot of breathing room, which some albums lean into that. But this is like, it's kind of like, since all the songs kind of sound the same,
mm-hmm.
It like just kind of like, it's like, oh my, it's like being disoriented, you don't know which way, like it's like turning yourself upside down underwater, right?
Yeah.
You start to lose like which way's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oh yeah, John.
The only thing that got me through this album was the drummer. Stylistically, as I said before, it's just post or pop punk again. Like you could have told me this album came out in 2002 and I would have believed you. It's so generic. I swear I've heard any song on this album anytime you just turn on pop radio. There was a piano breakdown at 150, which was good, and it actually builds back up to the energy of the song. But it lasts like 30 seconds from breakdown to back to full energy.
Yeah, they don't deviate too much from the formula.
Oh, and don't forget that we have a 35-second outro on a 2-minute 30 song. That was good too.
Yeah, no, Sober's, I like that piano breakdown, but I don't know. It's not anything too much to write home about.
Jump to track number 6, which has a lot to write home about.
Oh yeah, shortest track on the album at like 17 seconds. But
built this
what a dense nugget.
Yeah. I will say this one's great. It's straight to the point, and the lyrics cover a really deep topic that we can all relate to.
It's the only lyric in the song is, "I want to see some naked dudes. That's why I built this pool."
That's it.
And then the song's over.
Yep.
Which is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
So points for that.
It made me chuckle. They had a couple of guitar riffs, and then after he sang the lyrics, some guy way in the background was like, "Was that it?"
Which is actually pretty funny.
Yeah. That was funny.
And then pops right to track number 7, "No Future," which is less funny. Which I guess starts kind of a little more of a low-key intro. Of course, the classic low-key intro before you get into the scream singing chorus.
Yeah, this the intro is just Smash Mouth but pitched up.
Oh god, it kind of is, but not like a good way.
No, the exact same singing style.
I like Smash Mouth had like some ska in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all I could hear was just Smash Mouth pitched up at the start, but without the parts that make Smash Mouth fun. The harmony is back. I'll give him that, and that's great. It adds a lot of depth to otherwise stale white bread voice. But again, at this point, it was like, okay, you're starting to pick up on some of the cards after you're listening really closely. The new one is there's no variation to the vocal melody. If they do say anything different, it's said in the exact same melodic line, so you can't tell they're saying something different because it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
Even the na-na-nas they had were in the same vocal melodic pitch, following that chorus pitch. I'm like, what? That's not how you don't just write 6 bars of vocal, change the lyrics, and repeat it throughout the song. Sometimes you can get away with it, but not when every song is like that.
Yeah. Goodness, it starts to string together. I just have to agree with you. I don't really have much to add on that one.
Yeah.
How about we move on to track number 8?
Yeah.
Home is such a lonely place. Which is actually kind of an acoustic-led song.
Yes.
Which is a nice change of pace. 8 tracks into it is a little far, but
yes.
But just have some more interesting things going on. A little bit pianos thrown in. I think some violins.
A little bit.
So at least some different instrumentation.
Mm-hmm. And I will say the vocal stylings in this one is much, much more suited to that acoustic style. It just sounds good. There's a little bit of a shifting vibraphone in the background, which is nice. And of course, there's some glockenspiel. Don't worry.
Glockenspiel, the ultimate instrument,
mm-hmm.
the great equalizer.
In everything from jazz to pop punk to rock music,
What is a king to a god? Yeah. What is a god to a glockenspiel?
There's a little bit of piano and drums coming around 1 minute to spice things up in the backing track. You know, this song actually builds. It's a proper song. It just doesn't start where it ends. I will say, as good as this one is, And actually, before I go on a little tirade, Cooper, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh no, tirade away.
I think the reason why I've disliked this album so much, besides the, living through the era of pop punk and it was awful. This sounds like any generic Christian rock band that I was forced to listen to on the way to church when I was younger. They all sound exactly like this. They say they're rock, and every single song that any of the bands produce sound exactly the same, and they sound just like this.
Yeah, it's certainly going for that vibe. I don't know. After I've listened to this album multiple times, and I still not sure if I would be able to pick out necessarily a Blink-182 song from a crowd.
I can tell you right now, I would not be able to.
Like they go for a style. It's not like it's not a particular style, but like it's so non-destructive within that styling, you know, which is ironic given punk.
Yeah, it's just pop. It's not punk.
Yeah,
it's just
this song definitely
early 2000s pop. That's what it is. There's no punk in here.
Let's move on to track number 9, "King of the Weekend." Starts with some nice drumming. I was happy to hear that drumming. And
but of course, right back into the no variation to the vocal melody.
Yeah, the vocal melody. I don't care for the vocals on this album overall. I mean, I guess they're serviceable, and they certainly fit the pop punk aesthetic, but I've never liked that vocal styling. It's a little whiny. It's not like good in the traditional sense, which rawer vocals aren't bad, but I feel like they have to go for like less kind of squeaky clean instrumentals.
Yeah,
or raw instrumentals at least.
How about actual instrumentals instead of just 5 bars repeated? Besides,
that
drums,
technically counts as instrumental.
The drums are great.
Oh yeah,
but this one felt so much longer than 3 minutes. Again, there was just the chorus. There was nothing else.
I mean, there's like some verses, but it's definitely just a chorus heavy song.
Yeah.
With really no progression. I think it's the worst part.
No progression whatsoever.
You kind of get what you pay for at the intro with this one.
Jump to the track number 10 then, if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 10.
Blazing through this one.
Teenage Satellites.
It's not really worth saying the same thing over and over again for every single song.
Hey, look, they're giving us the same thing. We'll say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the same thing.
Yeah, I said, yeah, this one's just more of the same.
It's exactly the same.
There's higher vocals. There is like kind of this cool thing. I'll give it credit here, where like the first verse has this like kind of lower vocals in the front, and like the higher vocals in the back. But on the second verse, it's the higher vocals in the front and the low vocals in the back, which is kind of cool. I'll give them points for that.
Yeah, this is not good. If the last song was just chorus, this one's like even more chorus. This one felt like I was stuffing slice after slice of stale white bread into my mouth, hoping the next one would be cake.
What's this, cake, Sam?
No, it's just all stale white bread.
It's all bread.
It's all stale white bread all the way down. There's nothing here. I just had to keep forcing it in my mouth, though. I wasn't allowed to stop.
Oh, man. Well,
track number 11.
Track number 11. Left Alone.
Left Alone.
Which, starts a little slower. Has a little bit of a build-up. I'll give it that.
Yeah, but all the lyrics for this song were used in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, goodness. I guess we could touch on the lyrics if you want. It's very, very teenage angsty.
Yeah.
Which, when the guys are like middle-aged, comes off as a little less sincere.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of make it realize it kind of doesn't mean anything. Because they're singing about, on this one being left alone or something.
Yeah.
But the lyrics don't match or don't matter. It's kind of just carrying for the vocals. But when the vocals aren't very good, anyways, it's like one big bleh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bunch of 40-year-old dudes making the same music that they made 20 years ago.
Got a nice drum break, though.
Yeah, honestly, the drummer needs to find a new band. He's too good for them.
I'm sure he's made plenty of money with Blink-182.
Yeah,
They're
probably
pretty popular. So hey.
God, if you could, if they could teach how they've been popular, I guess it's because they made the genre, and then just beat it to death with everybody else. But because they were first, they've lasted.
They have stuck to their guns.
Yeah.
To the bitter end.
But for fuck's sake, stop beating the horse. There's nothing left. It's gone. Like, you're just beating the ground where the dead horse was at this point.
There's just horse skid marks.
Yeah.
Track number 12. Rabbit Hole.
Hey, there's some cursing. Nice. Cool.
Oh, yeah. They one explicit song on the album.
They said fuck twice. Cool.
Which I was going to say that, for punk, you'd think they'd use naughty words more.
Yeah.
But they probably make it less profitable. Which what says punk like profitability? Man, this got a Grammy nomination.
Yeah, I mean, the Rabbit Hole in itself. I mean, we're just kind of lamenting the album at this point. Rabbit Hole in itself, not an awful song compared to everything we've listened to. It's got much higher energy, which I think was why are you doing pop punk if it's not super high energy?
Right.
There's actual variation in the vocal melody, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It throws it all out there and then leaves, which is needed. It's, again, there's nothing going on instrumentally, but there's none in any of these songs. But it's, compared to everything else so far, it's somewhat pleasant. I mean, I guess if you're walking over broken glass, the blazing asphalt will be preferable, but
it's definitely non-offensive punk song, which I guess is a little oxymoronic, but
especially since it's rated explicit.
Yeah, that's just because they say the F word like twice. Track number 13, San Diego.
Yeah, it sure follows that trend of having a super long chorus with a tiny short hook before each repetition.
I feel like we're kind of Groundhogging Day.
Yep.
It's like each song's just the same one.
This is where I got up for the third time. This song.
Every time they mention California City,
I just had to. I had to stop. Like, if you scroll down, like, do you have anything to add? We can move on to 14.
I mean, this album's only 40 minutes long, which is kind of on the short side, but it does feel longer than 40 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this one's got some more edgelord lyrics.
Is it I can't go to sleep because I might dream of San Diego? Is that edgelord?
There's some stuff later at like the 2-minute mark. Track number 14.
This was after I had a break. The only thing I wrote was, "Oh boy, more generic pop punk." That was it. I had nothing to add about this track.
Track number 14. The only thing that matters.
The only thing that matters is the fact that the end of the album is in 2 songs.
Yeah, the drums pop off again. Gonna keep pushing praise there.
Yep.
I am sick of the vocal sailing by this point. Though the guitars are kind of chunky and nice on this one. And it's only a 2-minute song, so it doesn't really overstay its welcome. They can't really.
The album has overstayed its welcome by this point.
Oh yeah, the album has. Anything you want to add, Sam?
I had one line, and it was, "This is another generic white bread song." Anything I'd say about this one is exactly the same as what I've said about the rest of them.
I feel obligated at this point to point out, at least for me, and I have nothing against the punk genre. I've enjoyed some punk songs in my time, but this album is just not hitting right.
It's bad. To be honest, it's a bad album.
Track number 15.
California. The titular song. And
the
surprise,
title track.
surprise, it doesn't start the exact same way every other fucking song on the album did, which, whew, they put effort into the titular song. Who would have thought? Too bad it's the second to last song on the album.
It has kind of like a little synthy intro. It's kind of mellow. That then kind of goes into a more mellow verse before obviously popping off at the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Something a little different. Little variation's always nice.
I will say it's kind of upsetting because how am I supposed to know what instruments are going to be in the song if they aren't all used at the start of the song with no variation throughout?
I'm not here for surprise. I'm here for Blink-182.
I'm here for the 5 bars of music repeated for 2 minutes. But this is the only song, one of the only songs on the album that actually has growth. And I will argue it is the only song with growth because the other ones that we've seen have just had a dropout that builds back up. This starts with less than it ends with. And it's the only song on the album that does that.
But kind of 15 songs deep that's definitely too little too late.
Yes.
But at least they gave the title track a little more attention.
Yeah, but again, by the end of it, it's just back up to that same sound that they've been using for the past 14 songs. And it's like, okay, it started different, but it ended the exact same way.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say that we haven't already said, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to say anything. We've already said it all. Every song's the same.
Yeah, let's go to the last song then.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Number 16, Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a pretty funny title. I can points there.
Yeah, that's funny, but
it's a 30-second song, basically an outro. I was kind of hoping it'd just be like an instrumental outro.
Yeah.
Of course, they had to throw in one lyric about. Goodness, the lyric is, "There's just something about you that I can't quite put my finger in." And that's the end of the album. The album ends.
What pissed me off the most about this one, though, is they actually did style. There is stereo guitar lines in each ear where they play the same thing, but they play it twice, so it gives it some character. There's some stereo with the vocal lines where they sing it twice, but it gives it some character. Why didn't you use that anywhere else, aside from this 30-second throwaway song, to give it character?
I mean, probably because of a 30-second song, and they could just...
because it was the least amount of effort is what it was.
Yeah, I don't think they quite earned the cheeky ending that they put here. Came off as a little more than, like, oh, you...
Yeah.
But that's the album.
Yep. What's your favorite song, Cooper? Let's hear that. I'm interested.
I liked Los Angeles. I thought it had like a little bit darker mood going on, and San Diego was pretty nice too. With I don't know, they felt a little more like kind of the I don't know, the in California, like the ones named after like California cities or locations were like all right. Or maybe a little more progression, a little more style focus. In terms of like least favorite, it's actually much harder.
They're all the same. How can you pick one?
I guess She's Out of Her Mind, because that's when I first realized what this album was going to be. I'm like, okay, it's going to be the same.
I realized it on Bored to Death. Bored to Death and Teenage Satellites are probably two of the worst songs on this album. Where it's just chorus. It's the same thing. I can't believe they put one of the worst songs as the second song on the album. This is very clearly a band that's been around for a long time, and they're just doing it for the money at this point. There's no innovation, no fixing the issues with pop punk that they've created over the years. It's just the same thing. And I am honestly shocked that they're still as popular as they are, and that this almost got a Grammy. There's no reason that this should
Which, I
have
mean,
even been considered.
there's something to say about sticking to a genre's guns, but it did not age gracefully.
This was 2016. What do you mean it didn't? 2016, Cooper.
No, I mean from the original punk.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not like if we had listened to this back 5 years ago, then it really would have hit different.
No, there's sticking to your guns with the genre is important, but rarely anyone does it. Like Gorillaz, they were kind of grungy at the start, and now they are. I mean, compare their first album to the Now, completely separate genres.
Oh yeah, I mean that's unfair. The Gorillaz kind of changed from album to album.
Okay, fine. I'll go more. I can't think of anything. I'm just too. I'm seeing red. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, this. I don't know. It's not like any of these songs individually are unlistenable, right?
I'd argue that most of them are unlistenable, but I despise the early 2000s pop because it was just everywhere and most of it was garbage.
For me, at least, they're not like unlistenable, but like altogether, just like kind of mind numbing.
Yeah. My favorite song was "Built This Pool," though. I also liked "Home is Such a Lonely Place." I like that one too.
Yeah, nice acoustic led song.
Everything else is just, like I said, shoving piece after piece of stale white bread in your mouth, and you start choking after song number 2, but you got to keep going. So rating system, you know what? I don't want to do it. Screw you, Cooper. I'm going first. This is Scrapyard. This is one of the worst albums I've ever listened to. It didn't give me physical pain like Imagine Dragons Origins did, but it's a close fucking second.
Well, I'm not going to go as harsh as you, Sam. I'm going to give it like a low used rental because the drumming was pretty nice. Drumming was solid throughout the entire album. It was quite impressive. And there's like a song here or there. It's like, oh, it's a little fun throwback. But yeah, overall, I can't really recommend this to anyone.
Don't listen to this album.
It's I mean, I guess I'm not sure if I can say if you're a Blink-182 fan, they sound like Blink-182. If you like that sound, then that's what this album is.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like it's an old genre that was not approved upon, and it shows.
Yeah, it's very, very clear that they're just doing it for money at this point. Which, fair enough. If you're still making money, putting in minimal effort, I'm not going to argue with that. I just kind of upset whoever recommended this to us. Honestly, this might have been. It was Liam, so this might have been a troll. I don't know. Liam, if you actually like this album, I'm sorry, but you don't have good taste.
Yeah. I do not care for this album at all.
The drumming's great, but I don't feel like digging through piles of shit to find a single gold nugget that may or may not be there. So that's the album.
Yeah, so that's our review.
Yeah, worst album I've listened to in a very long time.
Hopefully, you don't have to listen to that one again soon.
Yep, that pretty much writes off Blink-182 for me. Don't think I'm ever going to listen to any of their music ever again. So if you suggest it, I'm just going to delete it from the box. Rolling on over to the spare tire, which is whatever else we've been listening to this week, which I heard I flushed my toilet earlier and it was about in G, and that was pretty good. That was better than the album, I think.
Wow, you really don't care for this album.
Cooper, I lived through
I lived through it too.
But I don't, maybe it was because I worked at a grocery store. It was just bad. It was everywhere. And it was awful. None of it was good. It was all exactly the same. They all sounded exactly the same. Whatever. Let's move on. Whatever. I listened to Plastic Beach this week. That's
a good album. Yeah. That's a great album.
That's the only new thing. And then I went back and started listening to a bunch of the really old 70s Electric Light Orchestra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Back where
classic yellow.
Yeah, back when it was actually orchestra instead of just
electric
rock music with some organ over top, or synth made to sound like organ.
Hey, you say that like's a bad thing.
No, I mean, I like both styles, but there's definitely people who like one or the other, and sometimes you just get a hankering for that orchestral sound with then you put a couple of rock elements in.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was listening to some more Prince. Like I said, I've still been on that Prince kick. Listening through, I think it's called Chaos and Disorder was the album, as well as some Paul Cherry. Listen to Paul Cherry.
I've never heard of him.
Pretty nice. It's kind of like a very mellow, kind of a very synth heavy pop sound.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very kind of a lo-fi feel to it. Yeah, I quite dug his. I listened to the album Flavor. I quite liked it. I hadn't listened to much of his stuff before. I'll give it a recommendation there. And a new band that's came out with their first album was named Apifera. I listened to that as well. Very like kind of moody, instrumental, atmospheric music.
Okay.
I quite liked that album as well. Good thinking music.
I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, so yeah, those were some good albums I'd recommend.
Oh, well, that's the end of the podcast. I feel like I've.
No, not gonna lie. I feel like our suggestion box has been more hit miss than hit.
Oh my god! Like Bruce Springsteen, Blink-182. What was the other one? Breaking Benjamins. Oh, guys, come on! Like, come on! Really? You listen to that stuff? You listen to it and like it enough to recommend it to somebody else?
You know, I'm never gonna judge someone for a particular music they're like, but I will say if it's bad.
Yeah. If you say Imagine Dragons Origins is your favorite album of all time, I don't think any of your opinions will matter to me ever.
Wow.
Cooper, I got a migraine listening to that album.
No, I remember it. That's probably why I didn't give this one a scrapyard. Because I'm like, but is it really Imagine Dragons Origins bad?
I had to look past it. This is probably the second worst album we've ever listened to.
Wow.
Followed closely by, I don't know if I gave it Scrapyard, but what was that Bouncing Balls album? That was
Aphex Twin.
Aphex Twins, that was pretty bad.
Hey, at least it was interesting.
Yeah. All right. If you've liked what you heard for some reason and you want to listen to more, if you scroll down, there's a picture of Jeff Lynne's face. Click on it. It'll take you over to YouTube. All the past episodes are there.
Watch our Prince episode. We're a lot more positive.
Yeah, we haven't had a good rage one in a while.
That's true. We've been listening to too much good music.
Yeah, we've been spoiled.
Got to remind ourselves that it's not easy.
Yeah, and if you are listening on YouTube and you like what you hear, come on over to the Twitch. It's in the video description. 8 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, and you can check out the Twitter. I don't remember. What is Twitter, Cooper? I don't remember.
At AudioShop14. Yeah, we'll give you updates on what we're listening to, and you can give it a listen before you listen here if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry for the bad album this week. Hopefully next week we'll choose something a little more listenable.
Yeah, it was something. So we'll see you next week with whatever that may be.
Yeah. Something a little more palatable.
Yeah, hopefully much more palatable.
All right. See you.